This is a powerful clip, and I want to encourage you, if you can, to watch it all the way through. You're going to see here female swimmer Riley Gaines talk about competing against Lia Thomas, and some of this is information you've never heard before. I first saw this on Chief Nerd on X, and then the Rogan Report picked up on it as well, and I thought it was just too important not to share on this channel, and I also wanted to give a little bit of my opinion after the clip was done. So check it out.
At this national championships, right? This national championships where we had Lia Thomas, who is a male, a man, self-identifying as a woman. We were told we fully had to treat this person as a woman, right? This same national championships, we had another athlete who was transitioning. But this athlete is a female who was then self-identifying as a man from Yale. Izzy now goes by the name of Isaac. And we were told we fully had to treat this person as a man. Optics purposes here, to give you perspective of what this looked like from our eyes. Okay, finals of the 100 freestyle. Top 8 women in the entire nation.
Air quotes women.
Air quotes women. Yeah, for those that don't have video, air quotes women. Top 8 women in the entire country. And you've got a 6'4" man in a women's swimsuit with a bulge next to a woman wearing only a Speedo with nothing covering her top. Your reaction was my reaction, because I'm sitting there watching this. I'm thinking to myself, it's me. I'm the crazy one. It must be. This is the freaking Twilight Zone. Really what had thrusted me over the edge into no longer being willing to lie, ultimately, is he and I raced in the 200 freestyle. This is the day after he swam the 500 freestyle and won a national title, beat out Olympians, beating out American record holders, right? Keep in mind, these aren't scrubs. They're the most impressive and accomplished female swimmers this world has ever seen. And again, he beat them all by body lengths. 1 second might not sound like a lot of time, but in the sport of swimming, again, measured down to the 100th of a second, 1 second is significant. But you tied, and we only have one trophy, so we're going to give the trophy to Lia. Sorry, Riley, you don't get one. My heart rate was still high, having just competed. My adrenaline was still pumping. And so the first thing that I thought ended up being the first thing that I said. And the first thought that I had was just what you had just said, right? Like, isn't this everything that Title IX was passed to prevent from happening? What do you mean you're going to give the trophy to the man in the women's 200 freestyle? I asked the question that no one dared ask all season. And I said, why? Which, of course, he didn't have an answer as to why. They didn't give him a script of what to say when someone asks you the dreaded question of why. And so his first excuse he came up with, he's stumbling on his words, and he's, well, we're actually just doing this in chronological order, he said. And so I said, okay, do you mean alphabetical? Because G comes before T. Otherwise, I literally have no idea what you're being chronological about, right? We tied. So again, what's your rationale here? And finally, he realized that he didn't have a justification. He didn't have an answer for this. And so, and I actually appreciate his honesty, this is when his face changed. He looked sad. His voice changed. I could tell he didn't even believe what he was about to say. But this official looked at me and said, Riley, I am so sorry. But we have been advised as an organization that when photos are being taken, it's crucial that the trophy's in Lia's hands. Again, you can pose with this one, but you have to give yours back. Lia takes the trophy home. You go home empty-handed, end of story. We can eventually mail you one.
Oh my God.
Is what they said.
So I want to share with you just two thoughts. Riley Gaines brings up Title IX. Title IX, passed in 1972, is seen as one of the biggest wins for women ever. It was ultimately passed to protect women, and this is just one of many legislative actions that have been taken historically. And this brings me to my first point. It has taken the blood, sweat, and tears of countless people over thousands of years to get women to the place where they are right now, where they can be represented in sports like they are, or different occupations like they are, not be discriminated against. And all of a sudden now, in the world in which we live, we see all of this being torn away, in which men are now going to be able to supersede women in events like this where they were once protected. Riley Gaines lost that trophy to a man, and there was nothing she could do about it, and nobody protected her. None of these legislative actions protected her, and that brings me to my second point. What is going on here is ultimately a war, and it's a war between good and evil. And that evil, I believe, looks at the design of God and says no. That evil would proclaim manipulation over God's design, saying, you created it this way, but we're going to make it this way. You designed it to be like this, but we are going to pervert that design and make it into this. Even if you aren't a follower of the Bible, you have to look at what's going on with sobering eyes and ears and realize something is wrong. When the Bible said in end times that people would call evil good and good evil, it seems to me that the word is true, because the world will look upon what I am saying right now and condemn it, call it bigoted, evil, disgusting. But Scripture would say that this is in fact just truth, that there are men and that there are women, and that there really is no such thing as transitioning from one gender to another, just like you can't transition from one race to another, or you can't transition from one age to another, or you cannot transition from one species to another. Yet, because the evil of this world wants to continuously pervert God's design, we are seeing this before our eyes. What are your thoughts on this? Leave your comments below. I'll catch you in the next video.